Thinking of retiring in Asia, where gay rights have actually advanced and everyday life feels modern and livable?
Yes. This is Career Money episode number 614, and we're heading to Taiwan as part of our affordable, gay-friendly retirement cities series.
And before all of you say, oh no, Taiwan, it's under the watchful eye of China.
We all the watchful eye.
Is it better to have China as your neighbor or Washington, D.C. within your own borders right now?
Yeah. Valid question.
All right, so Taiwan. Well, Taiwan does lead the region, Asia, when it comes to LGBTQ acceptance. While it offers a lower cost of living, it also has solid infrastructure and a vibrant queer culture. It legalized same-sex marriage in 2019. It is a little bit behind when it comes to non-binary and trans rights, although behind, I'm not sure exactly who we're comparing that to, especially if we're talking about the United States right now. Conversion therapy has been banned there, unlike what may be going on in this country pretty soon. There is not currently a tax treaty between the U.S. and Taiwan. I know several of you have asked questions about the videos that we've done about various countries and asking about taxes, but we did learn that the U.S. government is actually working on trying to create one.
So 2 weeks ago, we covered the Netherlands, and 2 weeks from now, we're going to be covering Ecuador by popular demand. This week, of course, we're covering Taiwan. As always, please let us know what we get right, what we get wrong, and definitely share your personal experiences. We love those discussions, particularly ourselves, but it's also very informative to other people who are checking out our social media, YouTube handles to see those discussions, because it's providing them a lot of valuable information. In fact, the other day, somebody I saw that two people, I think one was in Mexico and the other one is headed to Mexico. And they said that they were going to try to meet up and try to show them around whatever city or town it was that the person was living in Mexico. And I just think that's wonderful. That's exactly what we need.
We like have those kind of conversations happening within the community. All right, let's get on with the top 5 cities.
Wine in Lisbon instead of U.S. chaos?
We've recently learned of a truly fabulous way to help get you there. Details coming up. Here at the 5th one, coming in at number 5 is... Now, forgive us in our pronunciations, but we think this one is pronounced Taichung. This is probably one of the easier ones.
It is.
So why is this great? Well, it's often seen as the middle ground between Taipei, the large hustle-bustle city on the island of Taiwan, and the southern cities, which have a much slower pace of life. It offers a good climate. It's better traffic than Taipei and the sprawling metropolis there, but it does also have a growing arts and cafe culture. Some of the downsides here, it does have a much smaller queer scene and less centralized scene than, say, for example, Taipei. Some expats say that the nightlife here is limited, and we don't have any personal experience here, so we're going to have to trust them. Public transportation here is decent, but not as extensive as, say, for example, Taipei. Some of the LGBTQ vibe, what's going on here? Well, there are some gay bars and some gay-friendly cafes, but they are scattered. Pride events often include Taichung in the circuit, and keep in mind, Taiwan is an island with roughly around 23 to 24 million people, and there are queer activities that go around the whole country. Taiwan does have an international film festival, and it does have screenings here in Taichung. Some of the perks here are that there is more space for your money. You're going to have a lot less noise and a much more relaxed daily pace of life. You do still have access to great hospitals, good culture, and connectivity to Taipei. As we know, when you get outside the United States, it seems like there's a lot better public transportation, especially when it comes to trains, and that's the case here in Taiwan. Real estate here is much more affordable. When it comes to the average 2-bedroom in Taichung, you're looking at somewhere between $600 and $1,300. Now, I know that's a wide spread, but it also depends on the neighborhood and the quality of the accommodations that you're actually looking for.
$1,300 a month is not that bad for rent.
Right. We would take that right now, I think, especially if $1,300 is kind of those higher end, right? As far as overall cost of living versus the U.S., well, Taiwan itself is a much significantly cheaper country than the United States. On average, the country itself is around 56% less than the U.S. Some sources are saying that the U.S. is about 77% more expensive overall. Taichung itself is falling in the 50 to 60% range, cheaper than the US. And obviously that depends on the type of housing that you're choosing. So for all these reasons, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 7 out of 10. Good value, decent quality of life, just not a major hub for the queer scene.
Sounds good. Coming in number 4 is Kaohsiung. It's great because this is in the southern Taiwan region with warmer weather, sea access, and a much more relaxed pace of life. Locals cite that rent and cost of living here are much, much cheaper than Taipei. It seems like Taipei is sort of like the barometer for everything in Taiwan.
Yeah.
The downsides are that consequently, the public transportation is not that great. It's not nearly as developed. And even relative to Kaohsiung, did I say that right? Taichung. It's got a smaller, much more fractured LGBTQ plus scene, but it is very LGBTQ plus friendly. Kaohsiung hosts its own Pride every year in December. Somebody quoted a quote we got from somebody says that Kaohsiung has a limited but radiant homosexual scene.
It's interesting. I did see one statistic. I'm just recalling this. That said that they surveyed people in Taiwan, and I think it was somewhere around 60 to 64% of people said that their town or city was a great place for LGBT people to live, which is interesting. That's a question they would ask of the general public.
Yeah, and the listing here says many mainstream businesses are very, very LGBTQ plus friendly. The perks are that you have a much more affordable coastal life, warm climate, good food, less crowds than Taipei for certain, and still access to bigger city sort of infrastructure. Taiwan is definitely well developed. Average 2-bedroom goes for as low as $850 to $900 a month, again depending on the quality and the location. Cost of living versus the U.S. is about 45 to 60% cheaper than the U.S. national average. And for all these reasons, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 8 out of 10, strong value and solid quality of life with a decent queer presence.
All right, coming in at number 3 is Tainan. Tainan. Why is this great? Well, it is a historic town. It is very calm and a much slower pace of life compared to, again, Taipei. It does have, for all those reasons, a lower cost of living, much more local vibe. But yet it's still well connected by train to the major cities around the island. Some of the downsides, it is a smaller city, right? So there's going to be less of everything, including less nightlife, fewer queer venues. There are some medical and cultural services here, but if you want some of the major ones, you may have to travel to some of the bigger cities. As far as the LGBTQ vibe, there are queer-friendly cafes, and it does participate in those national LGBTQ events. There are some bars and meetups, but oftentimes they're low-key, much more community-based. So you're not necessarily going to a gay bar. You're probably going with a community of people to a local bar. As far as some of the perks, lower cost of housing here is really important. Also a quieter environment compared to the big bustle of the big cities. There is deep culture. This is a great place for retirees who are looking for serenity, right? People who are looking for something. Right. They're looking for something that is not necessarily a large city with lots of large city amenities. As far as cost of living, the average 2-bedroom in Tainan is going to go for anywhere between $600 and $1,100. Again, location, amenities, quality of the housing is a big factor here. Overall cost of living in Tainan is about 50 to 60% cheaper than the U.S. And for all these reasons, we're giving a Queer Money retirement of 8 out of 10 for that quiet, cheap life.
Did you say quiet, cheap wife?
I don't know if those two words go together.
Our runner-up is Taiwan, also known as New Taipei. It's has great proximity to Taipei's queer infrastructure, international airport, transport, medical care, and culture, but lower rents and less congestion because you're not right in the heart of the city. Downsides are you're still kind of commuting for a lot of the things that you may want into Taipei. LGBTQ plus vibe, hotspots is very close to Taipei, so it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to all the gay things. Gay bars, gay events, gay drag shows.
Skip.
The Red House District is very, very popular. That's the mall, right?
Yeah, so this is really cool. It's a mall full of shops that are open during the day, and then when the shops close, the mall turns basically into a bunch of gay bars. So
That's how they make that's how they make up for their lost sales per day.
I guess
They get the gays drunk and they make them buy things.
you have all the retail queens there anyway, so it just kind of naturally they're all there ready to shop, or ready to drink.
Exactly. Perks are, it's sort of the best of both worlds, right? You have the lower cost of living than central Taipei, but access to the top tier queer culture and amenities, such as gay evening drinking, partying, shopping, and a good transit connectivity. Average 2-bedroom goes for about $1,500-$1,600 a month in US dollars. In the suburbs, you can probably go about 20 to 30% cheaper at about $1,100 to $1,300 a month. Official cost of living is about 60 to 65% lower than the U.S. national average. Remember, we're speaking on a national level, so not exactly comparing apples to apples, but we're trying to keep it somewhat consistent across each episode. For all these reasons, we're giving it a Queer Money retirement rating of 9 out of 10. Excellent compromise between costs and full access.
Darlings, this isn't just investing. It's a passport to fabulous. With the Optimize Portugal Golden Opportunities Fund, a 500,000 euro move gets you a Portugal Golden Visa, daily liquidity, and an EU passport in just 5 years.
Bring your partner, your kids, even your parents. Visa-free Shenzhen travel and Portugal's low-cost lifestyle included. Scan the QR code or click the link in the video description to explore how.
All right, coming in at number 1 is Taipei and several of the districts within Taipei that are very much focused on the LGBT community. There are some hot pockets here. Hot pockets? Hot spots for the LGBT. Yeah, right.
Dumplings.
One of the great things about Taipei, John and I have some friends who just recently moved from Taiwan back to the United States, but they started something called Asia Rainbow Ride. And this is basically a multi-day bicycle ride that was designed to raise awareness for the LGBT community, and it has continued.
Spreads love.
Yeah. As far as what else is great about Taipei, it has the best infrastructure in the country. It has the state-of-the-art hospitals. It has a great drag scene, art scene, nightlife, all sorts of community things going on there. So it's really, really a strong spot for the queer community. Like with most big cities in countries, it oftentimes attracts the LGBT community because we feel safer there. It is the hub for expats and foreigners and international amenities, especially for those who are from the LGBT community. Some of the downsides is this is the most expensive city in Taiwan. So again, depending on exactly where you're at. And what's interesting is the closer you are to, and I think this kind of happens here in the United States, the closer you are to the mass rapid transit or MRT, the pricier things are. I mean, we know that in New York City, the closer you are to the train stops there, the more expensive it is. But keep in mind, that's also where the congestion, the noise, and the crowds are. So that's one of the trade-offs. As far as the LGBTQ vibe, there is Red House here as well. And I think it's pronounced Jimending areas. They are recognized as the gay districts. You're going to have bars there. Some of the ones that we are aware of are G-Star, Circle, Secret Garden. There's a deep drag community here. There are lots of LGBTQ focused events. There are pride marches. There's the Queer Film Festival that all started right here in Taipei. Some of the perks for retirees, this is where you're going to have top access to medical care. Excellent public transportation, especially if those of you who decide that you don't want to drive, that's really important. And there's a lot of English-friendly services in Taipei. So if you're on your path, and you should be, if you plan on moving here, on your path to learning one of the many dialects of Chinese that is spoken in the country, if you need to default back to English, you're going to be able to find some support there. It also is the kind of the hub for where you would go to get off the island to other parts of Asia through direct flights to other countries. As far as the cost of living, you're looking for around an average of about $1,500 to $1,600 for your 2-bedroom apartment. Cost of living overall is about 31 to 32% cheaper than the US. So that is still such a huge discount. especially if you are carless and you don't have the car payment, the car insurance, all of that.
And access to amazing food.
Yeah. And so this really is probably the hot spot and that's for why we are giving this the top rating. It did come in at number 1, a Queer Money retirement rating of 9 out of 10, because it has the highest queer infrastructure and amenities, as well as the things that retirees would need.
So Taiwan offers remarkable balance for queer retirees, including full legal recognition, vibrant queer life, great public services, and significantly lower COL relative to the US of A.
COL.
Cost of living.
So if you can bear a bit more in rent, Taipei is probably the premium pick for that full queer immersion. But for those of you who are prioritizing affordability and the calm, tranquil life, Taiwan suburbs, as well as Kaohsiung and Tainan are probably some of the places that are more compelling. Which one of these sounds most like your vibe? Let us know in the comments. And then remember, if you want to map out your path to being able to retire either early or right on time, get your your Happy Gay Retirement calculator at the QR code on the screen, in the description of this YouTube video, or the link in your podcast player. And if you want all of those Queer Money retirement ratings for all the cities that we were looking at around the world, go ahead and go to queermoneypodcast.com/cities.
And come back next week when we cover the high-level stuff of what you need to know about tax treaties for those who are looking to retire abroad, because Uncle Sam or Donald Trump is always going to claw and get his money back.
We're bringing in an expert to help understand this, because John and I decided, we tried it and we said that didn't sound good.
Nope, outside of our skill set.
Yeah.
And then if you like Italian men in Speedos, come back in 2 weeks when we cover the top 5 places for gay retirees in Italy. If you love this episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and click all the bells and whistles so that your friends and you can retire fabulously abroad as well. And until next time,
stay fabulous.
If you're looking for more Asian vibes in your gay retirement years, check out this episode we did on Thailand.